The trial for Canadian Omar Khadr is already underway in the United States. For those who don't know, Omar Khadr is a Canadian. He was 15 in 2002 when he allegedly threw a grenade that killed a U.S. Army surgeon, Christopher Spear, in Afghanistan. So even though the Omar Khadr trial is currently on hold because Omar Khadr's lawyer is currently having a medical condition and has to go for treatment, we can still talk about the trial. The jurors have been selected. They are made up of military members, 4 men and 3 women, and they are selected from the U.S. Navy forces, Marine, and so on. He was detained in Guantanamo Bay for 8 years. He was abused by the Americans, interrogated, and rejected by the Canadian Harper government despite his Canadian citizenship or the Supreme Court ruling affirming his right. This past week, he was given a trial under a revised military commission originally created by W. Bush in 2002. What I don't understand is why does Obama insist on continuing this special type of court system to try suspected terrorists? This week, the U.S. prosecutor for the Guantanamo Bay detainee, one of them, David Iglesias, said that Omar Khadr's age does not matter. Instead, what is important is whether Khadr knew what he was doing. He was 15, he wasn't 9 or 10. But his age does matter. He was 15 and should be considered a child soldier. He might not be 9 or 10, but Omar Khadr was actually picked up at the age of 11 by his al-Qa'ida supporting father to Afghanistan and Pakistan. And it's clear to me that even if he's guilty in some way, he's also a victim of his own family circumstances. Not to mention he has been detained for 8 years, and even the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled in both 1988 and 2005 that anyone under the age of 18 cannot receive the death penalty. And the reasoning is important because the court states that during the formative year of childhood and adolescence, minors often lack the experience, perspective, and judgment expected of adults. Obama did promise to close down Guantanamo Bay and getting rid of the secret military tribunal during his campaign against Hillary Clinton in 2008. But Obama didn't do that. What he did was making slight changes to the military tribunal. For example, statements that have been obtained from the detainee using cruel, inhumane, and degrading interrogation method will no longer be admitted as evidence at trial. But this is wishful thinking because no one believed that the detainees were not tortured, especially in the early year of war on terror during the Bush administration. And as we were told this week earlier by the military judge that were presiding over the military commission trying Omar Khadr, statement given by Khadr 8 years ago can be used as evidence at trial during the pre-trial hearing. This is when he was still 15 and was handcuffed to a stretcher after surgery. He had a bullet hole in his chest, and he was subjected to interrogation technique like sleep deprivation and standing or kneeling for hours, possibly in black hood or whatever. And this is especially important. Prosecutor for the Guantanamo Bay detainee David Iglesias stated during an Esquire magazine interview in 2009 that, and I quote, "We as a country have decided that the only thing that disturbs us more than the prospect of terrorists being detained and tortured at Guantanamo is the prospect of terrorists actually leaving Guantanamo Bay. And so we will try in a civilian court the terrorists we think can be convicted in civilian court. We'll try through the military commission the terrorists we think we can be convicted through military commission, and the rest we will just, well, keep somewhere, even after Guantanamo Bay is closed." This doesn't sound like justice to me. On top of the fact that Obama administration had decided they have the right to transfer Guantanamo Bay detainee or Yemen detainee or anyone they pick up all over the world to other detention centers in Afghanistan so they can lock them away for the rest of their lives without having to prove anything in court. And the United States Court of Appeal for the District of Columbia seemed to agree in this month, in the May of this year. They ruled that the detainee in the American military prison at Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan has no right to challenge the detention and can be detained for indefinite period without judicial oversight. It's possible that even though we have a new president and Guantanamo Bay Center might be closing, we might have a new Guantanamo Bay base in Afghanistan.